folks, we're running just a couple minutes late. We had some power issues and we're waiting, but now it looks like the faculty have started. So off we go.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, families. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the viewers out there on our streaming land. I hope there are millions of them watching right now. My name is Andy Vadney, head of school, and it is my distinct pleasure to have this event going on right now. It has been one heck of a year. And, oh, faculty, you should probably be seated, right? Forgot that part, sorry. There we go. All right. So the theme for today is community. And if you listen to all of the remarks that you're going to hear, the speeches, the what's written in the diplomas, I think you're going to see that theme come through. And one of the great things about this site where we are right here, where the school has been since 1932, is that this was the home of the Mount Lebanon Shakers, and they were one of the most successful utopian communities in history. And they were here from 1785 until 1932. And where you're seated right here, it was their kitchen garden. So every morning and every evening they were out here working, and they got to see these incredible sunsets that we see here. So there's been a community here since 1785. When the Shakers left, they helped start the school, and the school has been here ever since. So community is a big deal. And as part of community, you want to have rites of passage, which is what we're doing right now, and you want to recognize certain milestones. And so right now, although he doesn't know this, we're going to put our hands together and we're going to wish Dr. Ted Lightburn a happy 40th birthday. You can kill me later for that one, Ted. I'd like to thank many, many people who made this event happen. In the midst of COVID, this has been really heavily thought out. You can see that it looks like we're playing lacrosse here with the crease, and it was a big deal. And Lisa Leary, where is Lisa? Lisa's right there. You got to put your hands together for Lisa because she did all of this. Lisa, thank you. So before we get started, can we make sure all mobile devices are silenced? We don't want to have any problems with that. All right, thank you. There's also going to be a portion of this program where it's a time of reflection, and this is in the Darrow tradition of reflecting and speaking if you want to. So there'll be a time when I come back up here in a little bit where it's going to be quiet, and we're just going to ask you to think, and if you want to reflect and stand up and say something, we would love it. Okay? So be thinking of that. All right, let's get started. Our first speaker today is co-chair of the Darrow Board of Trustees, Jennifer Chulnoke. In addition to serving on the board since 2012, Jennifer is the parent of 3 Darrow alumni, and that's Maddie, Peter, and Tench. She is a professor at Skidmore and genuinely one of the most wonderful and empathic human beings I know. Jennifer, come on up.
All right. I can take my mask off, right? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. All right. This is really a special moment, and I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. I'm going to keep my remarks short because I am standing between you and your diplomas. So I just want to say welcome to everybody, family, friends, our fantastic faculty and staff, Andy, all of our viewers at home. It's wonderful to have everybody here. And especially welcome to the Darrow class of 2021. So. You made it. You did it. That's fab, yeah, right? Well done. What a year. And Darrow, in true Darrow fashion, totally pulled it off. And it was through community. As Andy said, that's the theme. It was through the hard work, the effort, the care that every single person on this campus and even off campus have shown for this community. And these are the times, I think, it was a hard year, but also a time when Darrow truly was able to shine because of the values and the relationships and the skills and that we hold dear. And so thank you to each and every one of you. My notes just flew away. So, oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. I want to just say that the Darrow seniors, take those skills, take that resilience, take that grit out into the world as you take as you open your next chapter in your lives. It was a hard year, but the lessons we learned and the times we've had are going to serve you well in the long run. And so please take those lessons out into the world with you. And as you do that, don't forget about us back here on the mountainside. So take moments along the way to look back and think back on what you learned, the relationships that you developed, the people who were here to support you, and that you supported in your, oh, there they go. Okay, I'm just gonna wing it. So take a moment to look back. Thank you. Come back and visit us. We love to hear what you are up to. We love to learn about what your next steps are, where you're going with your lives, the things you're doing. It's wonderful to know what happens to you once you leave this place. And this is always a home for you, and you should always feel that you can come back and share with us. And the last thing I would like to say is give back. So all of us here today are here because of many people who came before us and shared of their time, their talent, their resources. And once you head out into the world, you will no longer be Darrow students, you will be Darrow alumni. And part of that responsibility carries with it the hope that you will continue to support this school and the students who follow in your footsteps, who can also benefit from this wonderful community. So look back, come back, give back. And with that, I will let the festivities continue. But thank you and congratulations to the Darrow class of 2021 on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Okay, our next speaker, thank you, Jennifer, that was very nice. Our next speaker is the valedictorian and student body president, Jaskaran. But wait, before Jaskaran comes up, hold on. I just want to say a couple of things about this young man. I had the pleasure of working with him closely this year. He would come into my office Friday afternoons and we would talk about all sorts of things. I think we saved the world a couple of times, didn't we? Saved the school a couple of times. And he's going to do great things. He is going to begin at my alma mater, Williams College, in the fall. Super psyched about that. But here's the thing that I really want you to know about him. He cared about this community and the care and feeding of this community in ways that I've been doing this a long time, in ways I've not seen a student body president do. And this year, as you all know, we went through the pandemic, and when we started school back in September, we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, you remember what that was like? We didn't know. We didn't know if we were going to make it. We didn't know if any among us were going to get sick, if they would die. We didn't know. But we persevered and we did it. And Jaskaran was always concerned about the community, the feel, what needed to happen to make sure everybody was feeling as normal as possible. And at a time when most people were home and didn't have community, we had it here, and it was beautiful. It wasn't the same as it had been in years past, but it was beautiful. And one of the things he did is he would come up with these really, what did you call them, closeouts? Yeah, really creative closeouts for the morning meetings. And, you know, one of the ways that the essence of this community would kind of bubble up from time to time, even in the midst of this pandemic, you see that structure over there, that all of those pieces of wood, that's, the students call that the nest. And they built that because they wanted to have an outdoor theater, a way of coming together the way they're used to doing it. And they borrowed that from Yo-Yo Ma, who built one of those over at Hancock Shaker Village. And Jaskaran would have these incredibly creative closeouts to the meeting. Some of them were in foreign languages. Some of them were, I don't even know where you came up with that stuff, but it was the kind of thing that we needed at the time. It was funny, it was poignant, and it just made a big difference. So Jaska, thank you so much. Come on up and tell us what you want to say.
There you go. Thank you for that warm welcome. It is an incredible privilege to be speaking at this event. I want to offer my gratitude to all who are here to celebrate us, the class of 2021, in person or virtually. I want to thank all of the phenomenal faculty and staff who were able to help us recognize and reach our fullest potential. We wouldn't be the same dashing people we are today if it weren't for your deep commitment to us. I want to thank the Darrow Board of Trustees and donors for keeping the mission of the Darrow School steadfast in their hearts to make this all possible. I want to thank all the admins for organizing this commencement ceremony and all the work they have done to make sure that this year went as smoothly as possible in these trying times. I want to thank all the parents and guardians who acted as a firm backbone for all of us to be here at this moment. I also want to offer a shout out to the class of 2020 for graduating unconventionally and the graduates here today who are not able to be present for this special ceremony. You make us appreciate the moment all the more. Lastly, to my fellow peers of the class of 2021, it was an honor and privilege to grow alongside you, whether it was 4 years or a year. We often joke that this class is a divided one because of our many different personalities and friend groups. If you're at Fresh Fire, you know what I'm talking about. But I think that makes our class all the more special. These ranging perspectives and identities meld synergistically and allows us to see reality in a multifaceted way. I'm so excited to see where you all end up and the impact that you'll make on the world. I want to talk today about the ever so present pandemic that we find ourselves in. None of us would have imagined the events that have taken place in early 2020, committing us to the next grueling 14 months that we find ourselves in. The distinction of this Darrow school year is not the mere fact that we're living in the midst of a pandemic, but the fact that we have so little control throughout the year. There was no absolute certainty as the situation evolved on a day-to-day basis. Every answer to a question of whether we could hold certain events or ease restrictions was a maybe. We lived every day with the thought in the back of our minds that our actions could infect and kill innocent lives. There was no end date to this pandemic. And even now, the leaders on the big stage are still grappling with the question of when to call it over. With nothing to look forward to, with certainty, we were and are still condemned to the eternal present, which suddenly felt both excruciatingly mundane and nerve-wracking in its peril. How could one ever be motivated to live when nothing is ever certain? I believe existential philosophy could offer an answer to this titanic question. In the mid-20th century, philosophers and people alike were faced with the same question in the face of extraordinary crisis. In the aftermath of World War II, Europe was left in shambles along with the basic understanding of morality, human nature, and the world. Families were torn apart. Villages and cities were decimated. Livelihoods were crushed. Innocent lives suffered without rhyme or reason, just as now innocent lives are being lost around the world as I speak. How could one reconcile the immense atrocities of World War II and the uncertainty of our lives with the idea of God and meaning in life? I find existentialist writer Albert Camus' idea of absurdism as a particularly illuminating answer to this question and a useful lens to analyze and reflect on our times. The absurd is the juxtaposition of humanity's innate desire to find inherent meaning in everything and the apathetic, unanswering nature of the universe. Philosophers came to two conclusions to deal with this realization: either take a leap of faith in believing in a higher power to give our lives meaning, or believe that our lives are inherently meaningless in a meaningless universe. Albert Camus offered a different solution: absurdism, which is the belief that one should loosely accept the absurd, but simultaneously rebel against it by embracing what life has to offer. The absurd, in our case, is the mismatch of our ordered, stable lives with the unpredictable, uncaring nature of the coronavirus pandemic. This Darrow school year was marked by the realization of the fact and the collective effort to make the most of what we had despite that. We started the year with optimism that someday we could all return to normal. The festivities in September and early October of Convocation and Fall Fest seemed to foretell a possible easing to restrictions and masks. However, as time showed, these hopes were dashed by the exponential rise of cases, which forced us to extend our virtual staymester and cut back the length of the school year. We tried placing our hopes on a normal second semester and an elaborate spring term trip. But again, these hopes were spoiled as the year went along. The bitter reality for many students, especially seniors, is the fact that this year will be nothing like any other year. In many ways, it will feel like a wasted year without the common joys shared and traditions like Friday morning meetings, seasonal concerts, and face-to-face interactions. However, this realization alone wasn't enough to bring the collective spirit and tenacity of the Darrow community. We understood the ever complex and dangerous situation at hand, but didn't resign ourselves to the fact. Our act of rebellion against the pandemic was not the act of blind faith to enjoy a normal year, but rather the measured response to both keep lives safe and to maximize the joy of each passing moment. We were still committed to each other, despite the unbearable stress the pandemic has inflicted on us. The collective effort of our faculty, students, and staff allowed us to make the most of this year without any outbreaks of COVID-19 on campus. This was the immeasurable effort put in by faculty and staff to both create and execute a plan for the school year. This was the exuberance showed time and time again at community gatherings, even in a virtual setting. This was the immense sacrifice made by the community to forego physical and emotional comforts to keep the campus free of COVID-19. This was the persistence of everyone who believed in humanity. The hope that one day we'll all someday return to normal wasn't what motivated us, as that only served to diminish our spirits with every missed expectation. It was a recognition that we lived in the eternal present that both gave us the freedom to be the most that we can be and to act with common decency to minimize suffering and to protect each other. We accept and acknowledge the tragic fate of this year. But with that comes an acceptance of ourselves and our capabilities. This acceptance alone allows us to find genuine happiness in our experience. This is the moral victory that the Darrow community carries from this year, and one that we should continue even when the pandemic is over. I want to emphasize the fact that this, not just for graduates here today, but for everyone here and anybody who is watching. Reject the idea of internal freedom, that you are only free when you accomplish certain things such as financial security, salvation, or normal times. We live our lives ordered with something to look forward to accomplishing. These goals, however admirable, take us away from living in the moment and enjoying the true totality of being. We commit ourselves to routine and find inherent meaning lost when the universe doesn't bend to our will. Recognize that you are free at every moment, and it is in your hands to have a passion for life itself. Keep this in mind as you traverse the many experiences the world has to offer and the uncertainty that is ever so present with us. Thank you, and good luck to the class of 2021. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jaskaran. That was awesome. Now we're going to have a musical interlude with John Doan back there. Give us a chance to let some of the things Jessica just said sink in. Awesome. John. Thank you, John. Very, very nice. As is tradition, the senior class chooses a speaker that they would like to have sum up the year for them. This student who has been selected, let me put my glasses down, there we go. 4-year senior. She has been active and involved not only in the classroom, but also in holding nearly every leadership position available at Darrow, from acting as prefect in multiple departments, serving on the discipline committee and as an RA, and to being a core leader. This student is Willow Covendecker. Come on up.
Oh boy, okay. Okay, let's see if I can get through this without crying. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Radney, for that introduction. And thank you to my class for selecting me as the senior orator. Although, to be honest, I don't know if I should thank you or resent you for choosing me, because most of you know that making and giving speeches is not exactly one of my favorite things. Yeah, but still, I'm very honored, and I appreciate you all so much for putting this wonderful challenge into my hands. First, I would just like to apologize to everyone who has put up with my anxious complaining these past few days about how I had to write and give this speech. Thank you, and I'm very sorry for being a part of my process. Now that the moment is here and I actually have a speech to give, I'm honestly very nervous, but I'm extremely grateful to be here giving this speech on behalf of our marvelous class. I have always been a rule follower. In my 4 years as a boarding student at Darrow, I've only gotten 1 strike for room inspection freshman year. I know that may make me sound like a goody two-shoes or something, and I know that maybe some of you see me that way, but I assure you I'm not. But I have always been someone who likes to stay on the line. I don't really venture, outside and test my limits that much. Like being late for things physically makes my stomach hurt. Following instructions and the rules and doing things by the book is my comfort zone. The other night at a fancy senior dinner we had, Jaskaran came over to the table I was sitting at, and we began talking about some of our favorite memories, goals for the future, and our biggest regrets. We reflected a lot on our regrets, things that we wish we could have done or would go back and change if we could. And a regret that many of us shared in common was wishing that we had taken more risks. And no, I don't just mean sneaking out after lights out or skipping a commitment, but just doing more things that are thrilling in different ways, that push us past our limits and encourage growth. I think that for the most part, our class plays it pretty safe. We work hard and individually push ourselves to be quiet, impactful leaders in the community. This past Thursday, at our last all-school meeting of the 2020-2021 school year, we had a Friday morning meeting. Friday morning meetings are a time of quiet reflectiveness where people are welcome to speak if they feel moved to, and we'll do something similar later today. A regret I have is not speaking at this meeting on Thursday. There were so many things that I wanted to say, but at the same time, I had no idea how to say them. Not only was I overwhelmed by all of the beautiful things that other people were saying about this community and the people who are part of it, but I also didn't know how I could possibly convey how much this place means to me. I could talk for hours about how much I love, appreciate, and cherish this community. I wish that I had just taken that small risk and spoken, because even if I rambled or started tearing up, I would have been able to share my thoughts with the community and let people know how grateful I am to have known them and gotten to be a part of their journey. So even though this is not a morning meeting, I will try to say what I wanted to say then now. What this school has is so special, and I am so insanely grateful for every person, every moment, and every opportunity I've experienced while at Darrow. Thank you so much to every student, teacher, faculty member, and anybody who has walked through campus at any point in time. Thank you for making this community what it is. The relationships and friendships I have made here are ones I value so much, and I will hold on to them forever. This place means so much to me. And whether or not they want to admit it, I think it really means a lot to everyone else in my class as well. It has been so wonderful, and I feel so lucky to be a part of a class and a school that encourages growth, provides endless support, and invites so many opportunities for growth and change. Seeing everyone in the class of 2021 become the amazing people that they are over these past 4 years has been so incredible and such a joy. Looking back at our class freshman year, we were all very different people, and we may not have been the most cohesive group, but I even knew then that there was something there that was special, a spark, if you will. And it has been so wonderful to watch and experience that tiny spark grow into a flourishing flame, strengthened and fueled by every addition to the class of 2021 throughout the past few years. While we may not be as wild and outgoing as some senior classes in the past, we shine in our own ways. We are quiet contributors. We are young people who don't need to make a show to make a difference. But still, doing something a little daring, within reason, is rarely ever a bad thing. My fellow seniors, let's all take more risks. We will never reach our full potential by staying in our comfort zones. Graduating and moving on to the uncharted territory that happens after high school is probably the biggest unavoidable risk that there is. I challenge you all to listen to and enact the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, a diplomat, activist, and the longest-serving First Lady of the United States. Do one thing every day that scares you. Playing it safe will protect you from failure, but it won't allow you to soar any higher than you already are. I'm saying this not only to you all, but to myself. Step outside of your comfort zone, venture past the comfortable and safe, and take risks. You will always have more regret in the things you didn't do than the things that you did. All right, we got this. Thank you.
Wow, Willow, great job. Wheaton College is going to get a good one this fall. That's great. Now it is my pleasure to turn the program over to Director of Studies, Mika Sarala, who will present the Senior and Faculty Awards. Mika?
Good morning. Sorry about this. So the senior awards are a way for us to recognize remarkable academic and community achievements by our graduating seniors. 2 days ago in the baccalaureate, we also presented a number of awards. Some of the awardees are sitting here with us today, but the ones that are presented today, we sort of call primarily community and named awards. So for each award, I'm going to read a short description of what the award is about and invite the awardee here to receive their award. The first award is the 12th grade class award. The 12th grade class award, officially known as the Senior School Prize, is presented to the member of the senior class who displays the finest representation of strong character, high scholarship, and effective participation in the activities of the school. This year, the recipient of the 12th grade class award is Faith Jackson. The Charles Pete Conrad Jr. 49 Community Award has been named in honor of the late Charles Pete Conrad Jr., a graduate of the class of 1949 and the third person to walk on the moon as captain of the Apollo 12 mission in 1969. Pete was an outstanding athlete, student, and citizen in his years at Darrow. This award is presented to the member of the student body who, in the opinion of the faculty, has greatly contributed to the social, extracurricular, and residential life of the school through effective participation, leadership, and enthusiasm. The recipient of this year's Charles Pete Conrad Jr. Community Award is Jaideep Singh. That's Darrow tradition as well. At least one award has to fall. The Charles W. Hempstead Memorial Award for Progress was established by Mr. and Mrs. Charles S. Hempstead in memory of their son Charles, Darrow class of 1956, and is awarded in commendation for determined and continuous effort to the student who has shown the greatest progress. The recipient of this year's Charles W. Hempstead Memorial Award is Fatu Cham. The Head of School Award is presented annually to the student who has contributed significantly to the quality of life at Darrow. This year's recipient has certainly done that. His contributions in particular to elevating the level of public discourse, both political and non-political, have been admirable. The recipient of this year's Head of School Award is Jahim Pierre. And now I will invite Andy Vadney back to present 2 faculty awards.
Thank you, Mika. The first faculty award is the Hans J. Solmsen Class of 55 Faculty Award, and it's given annually to the faculty member who has demonstrated a commitment to Darrow students through consistent and determined efforts to encourage and inspire those students to reach their potential. The award is made possible by Hans J. Solmsen, who served on the Darrow Board of Trustees from 1975 to 1991, and as chair of the board from 1979 to 1991. This award provides for advanced study by the recipient. This year's recipient is someone who, in a relatively short time, has demonstrated her commitment to students and education in and out of the classroom. As an academic coach, she supports and challenges her students to not settle for less than their best. As an athletic coach, she inspires players to push to reach their full potential because she clearly believes in the potential of each student, which is inspiring in itself. Students are drawn to her because of her listening ear, her caring manner, her sense of humor, and an ability to provide thoughtful support. Her energy and enthusiasm are contagious. This year's recipient of the Hans Solmsen Faculty Award is Christina Alvarado. Oh. The next award is the John F. Jolene III Faculty Award. John F. Jolene III was headmaster of Darrow from 1961 to 1975 and was a tireless supporter of faculty and a visionary for the school. Through his leadership and devotion to young people, he represented the finest qualities of the Shaker tradition. This award is given annually to the faculty member who has demonstrated by his or her depth of commitment a love of Darrow and its students. This year's recipient has brought to Darrow a wealth of knowledge, skills, and passion that has inspired not only students, but all of us as well. Her dedication to her students is legendary, and her commitment to building a first-class performing arts program has borne fruit in the most auspicious way imaginable, not only laying the foundation of the Darrow Center for Excellence in Performing Arts, but also inspiring countless students to find their passion for performing arts in general and for the theater in particular. This year, as the pandemic continued to create seemingly insurmountable obstacles for the performing arts, she attacked every obstacle with endless energy and a boundless imagination, thus creating opportunities for the Darrow community to come together time and again in celebration of the creative talent of its students. As a result, this community on the mountainside owes her so much, and I am delighted to present this year's John Jolene Faculty Award to Jennifer Pileski. All right, well, I lost my place here. Okay, now here's the time I was talking about. Before we have Dr. Steins come up and speak to us, we're gonna, as Willow said, we're gonna do our period of reflection. So I would like to invite the seniors, faculty, and all members of the audience to pause for a moment of reflection. After a few moments of silence, and for about the next 10 minutes or so, we'll see how it goes, I invite any seniors and guests here today to rise and share your reflection with the community, as we have traditionally done each Friday morning meeting until the pandemic forced a pause in that tradition. Please be mindful of the wishes of many folks who might want to speak when you consider the length of your own remarks. The faculty have already had their time for this sharing, so please hold open the space for the seniors and their families. And so now, let's reflect.
I say I hate it, even after my parents, whenever I go home, like, please come back. I'm so bored. This place has given me a chance to grow, to meet some amazing people who turned me into the person I am today, and I can never thank them enough for what they did. If I was at any other place, I would not have come up.
As I kind of predicted, like yesterday, my family is later than expected as per usual. But I've just been sitting here thinking, like, as soon as my advisor came up, I'm just so thankful to like even have you guys. You guys are like a second family to me, like all 4 years, and you're also amazing. And I thank you for that.
I'm going to miss being able to look out at the mountainside in the spring. I will also be behind you. It's one of the most beautiful things to about see. And I will always miss watching the sunset with my friends. I'll miss being able to come on the field when it's just kind of fun music, having fun stuff. And even going on the trails. The trails are, I own those things. I just want to say that right now. I can own those trails the amount of times I've walked.
too want to thank Darrow for the fabulous years we've had here. Just between my two fine sons, Darrow has graduated from Darrow, and I'm so excited for them and how well they are prepared for the future. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. As a parent, who over the past 4 years visited our daughter Katina at this community on many occasions for sports events and concerts, and remembering after this long year of not having that and seeing those sculptures that I so often looked at and watched dance in the wind, the landscape, beautiful landscape behind it, and all of the history. Brings me back to the thought that I had the first year Katina was here, and how enamored I was with all of the amazing work that the Darrow community did, not just educating, but bringing art everything, all of the work that I felt like this community did. It struck me that there was this art in everything. And I'm very grateful for all of the said of the seniors and the beautiful graduating class, and to all of the faculty for all of the art that has been brought to this hillside and into the lives of these young men. My sincere thanks and gratitude to the community as a whole.
tendency to ramble, so I apologize in advance. But I just want to say thank you to the Darrow community. We really get to put, despite all the things, all the wonderful things we heard about Darrow and brought also really here, a lot of times things don't live up to billing, and I always feel like it's a crapshoot no matter what, just like the death complements the reputation a place may have. But as over the last 4 years, when locally was come home, and I would see the graduate changes, and I would see the accountability, and I see the responsibility, just all those things just continue to throw me to the gills, right? And, it's nothing short, for me at least, it's nothing short of a miracle that locally went from where he was as a freshman to where he is today, and, I could hear it. I could hear it all over the place. I could hear it in the student conversations. I could hear it in both students' speeches, which I think were both absolutely amazing. I think you guys did a wonderful job at that. And, just the output and what I'm hearing is just very honest and very insightful. And it's a tribute to the community. It's a wonderful thing. I am just like, forget it. I can do backflips, but I don't want to hurt myself. And I just want to say thank you. It's just been an incredible family experience. Thank you.
Anyone else? Willow.
I'm literally sitting here in my tapping down, like, to show a part of me that doesn't feel like this is actually happening. Okay. I just feel so lucky to have gotten to be here. And then I also, like, so grateful for all the support I've received and everybody who's helped me and who I have been able to help. And I can't even believe it. So thank you.
Actually, one thing I gotta say, even though a lot of my friends are not here, and I know y'all are watching, so I know you're gonna hear this, y'all have been my cushion when I've been falling pretty hard. And I know there is nothing I can ever do to repay all of you guys for what you have done for me. Like, y'all have helped me when I was at my lowest. Y'all have cheered me on when I'm at my highest. I just love y'all, honestly, all of you. And I know you're going to hate this, but yeah.
Thank you for those remarks. All of you, that was wonderful. Very, very touching. John, can you give us another selection? Thank you, John. One of the other things about Darrow is that we like to make sure that there's student agency, that students have a voice in things. They get their opinions heard. Well, we asked them, the class of 2021, who would you like to hear from the faculty before you leave here? And they chose Dr. Katherine Steins. And let me just, before she comes up, let me tell you a little bit about her. During her 5 years on the mountainside, Katherine has been a force of nature, tasked with developing and expanding Darrow's experiential learning program. She took that on with energy and vision. She added exciting new opportunities for students, ranging from wind term and the senior internship program to a reimagined spring term that this year had to become incredibly responsive to the realities around us, changing almost moment to moment. Katherine also reinvigorated the independent studies program, further enriching the learning opportunities available to Darrow students. Her social animals course became one of the signature electives within the school, launching countless students on a trajectory of community action and leadership. Sadly, Katherine will be pursuing new professional opportunities next year at the Foreman School. They are lucky to get her. It's our loss. Put your hands together. Dr. Steins, please come on up.
Good morning. Okay, we're here. We're doing it. We're here. We're ready. So, thank you. Thank you, parents. This is your day too. Look at your grads. They did it. You made it. You survived. They did it. Yeah. Last night, we had a senior bonfire, and Faith and Rachel decided that the final, senior song was going to be We're All in This Together, a High School Musical song. And so Mr. Warba stayed up all night and said that he would sing it for us this morning. No? Mr. Warba and I have a prank war, and I think I just won it. That's it, done. Class of 2021, this year, I could have told you I had Beyonce right here waiting to perform Simple Gifts, and my guess is you'd shrug and say, we'll believe it when we see it. And I don't blame you. Looking forward to things this past year was really hard. You had to constantly pivot and adjust, and yet here you are, you made it, and heck, we needed you. What if we had a class that wasn't okay with silence? What if we had a class that wasn't as thoughtful or as purposeful or conducted themselves with such dignity and grace? You kept it cool on days that I wanted to scream, get me out of here. I think you kept a lot of us going. Thank you. Once in a lifetime event. I'm really sick of hearing those words. My first time I heard those words, I remember I was in Mr. Flamish's 8th grade math class on September 11th. In fall 2008, another lifetime event. I was in London studying abroad, and one of my friends had an internship program at Lehman Brothers. On his first day, he went and found a note on the door saying it was closed. The financial recession had officially begun. This collective trauma my generation shares. We see the world inevitably and react in different ways. A marine biologist studied whale calls the month after 9/11, and they were signifying stress signals to one another due to the lack of human transportation they were so used to hearing. We saw and continued efforts to check Wall Street and its practices, even still this year, with the surprising rise and fall of the GameStop stock. I wonder, how will the world react when COVID is over? How will we look back and think how we handled it all, how we healed, and how we move forward with the lessons we've learned? So my final lessons to you all, ones that I know you graduates know after this year, but I like to remind you as you know. Lesson 1, you get to choose how you react. The most important relationship you will ever have is the relationship with yourself. The world gave you that this past year, didn't it? And frankly, most of you have mastered the art of being alone. And so I charge you with reflecting to this year as a singular moment in time that you will hopefully not have to experience again. You have ample time to spend with yourself this year. Did you like what you saw? It's time right now for you to take the necessary steps that you need to take in order to become the version of yourself that you dream of becoming. Start reacting. Lesson number 2. Don't let anyone place you in a box. You hear me, Walter? The question I often get from students is, Dr. Steins, how are you so happy? The secret is, I'm not. I'm a professional. Thank you. The different versions of myself, my teacher version, my friend version, my leadership version, my COVID version, are all because I'm reacting to what an authentic role I'm trying to play. I don't think you want a teacher who told you last night after the bonfire that she cried into a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Do you? No, I'm not going to tell you. I told you. That's what I needed to do privately to heal. And I don't just let anyone see that side of me. Don't let anyone see every side of you. Be the multiple versions of yourself. Dance, sing, paint, open a business, let it fail, fall in love over and over and over again. Make so many boxes for yourself that when someone tries to place you in one, you can look at them with compassion and inspire them to have many boxes of their own. The final lesson. The world will continue to not give you any favors. I know, morbid, right? You can handle it. I know you can because of how incredible you were as a class this year. My best friend once told me, imagine the word pain on everyone's forehead that I meet. This has helped me in moments where I have been judged unfairly. I have been called bossy instead of driven, too ambitious, too forward-thinking, and on one occasion, at my very first job after college, a Pfizer executive called me a little girl with too many ideas. I have had my age, my body, my gender, my educational accreditations all called into question when I wanted to inspire change. I've had all these negative comments that were more based, again, on my gender or someone else's insecurity, but I used that to fuel and continue to fight for what I know is right in the world, and that's it. That's what I'll say. Keep fighting. You are in a similar moment in time where you are complete novices of life. Use it. Find out what you are passionate about and spin wildly toward it. Come up with new and brilliant ideas to make this world a better place because you haven't seen what my generation has. You have your own once-in-a-lifetime events that has shaped you in your most formative years that will lead us to all a better life. From COVID, the insurrection, the death of George Floyd, to hugs you've received here from people who you love, to a class you've taken that surprised you, to a song from an artist that you don't know, but every word speaks to you and your generation. We need fresh eyes, new ideas, and exciting people to lead us. I have full faith, and I'm so honored that I'm excited that these people will be you. You are going to be the leaders that we see next. Class of 2021, you are exactly where you need to be. You are right now, in fact, in a once-in-a-lifetime event. Graduating high school, through all the challenges this year, try to remember to give yourself equal parts good and bad of those collective events. It's not about how many you have of them, but what you do when you are in them. You succeeded in a time where the world didn't want you to. Your resilience is inspiring, and I know I speak for the entire Darrow community and the Darrow family, both here and online, that we love you and we're going to miss you. Thank you.
Wonderful words, Dr. Stein. Thank you so much. Really good. And now, the time has finally arrived for diplomas. And as Chris Cuomo says on CNN, let's get to it. So, Mika, come on up.
Hello again. So this is it, the main event. The way this is going to work is I will read out the student's name and ask them to come up here. They will stand on that platform over there, and I will read an appreciation of that student written by their advisor, hopefully to a maximum embarrassing effect. And they will receive the diploma and the accolades that belong to them. So let's begin. One thing to note, as is typical again of the COVID year, unfortunately, we have a larger number of students this year who were not able to be in this event. I hope that you all are watching. I hope you'll feel the embarrassment acutely, even though remotely, when I still read your advisor's appreciation of you. And we will begin. One more thing. So in the Darrow tradition, we will first award the diplomas for seniors who have been here less than 4 years, and then the 4-year seniors as a group to finish up with. Our first senior, Penelope Carter, is unfortunately not present. Penelope's advisor, Mix Wang, writes, 9 months ago, Penelope came to Darrow as an unassuming, self-proclaimed shy girl who was nervous about her future. Now, as Penny prepares to move on to the next stage in her life, I urge her to look at herself once more through the eyes of the people she will leave behind. Penny, you are a resilient, tenacious, fashionable, and independent woman. You have the spirit of a warrior and the grit to accomplish anything you set your mind to. I am so proud of you. Never lose sight of who you are. Penelope Carter. Actually, I think it's okay for me to take my mask off. Josep Cornelia Iboada. Pep's advisor, Sean Speckin, writes, Sean, can I take an Oreo? Pep would often ask me in advisory. Of course I would respond. There was always a package of Oreos in my room. Pep would take one, then another, and another, and 2 more for the road. Pep would often come to class with a question followed by another, and usually 2 or 3 more. This is Pep. He's always looking for more, whether it's vocabulary, new friendships, improving his basketball skills, or advice for the future. Pep, I encourage you to keep taking that extra Oreo and asking that one question. Your curiosity has taken you so far already, and I have no doubt that your openness will continue to open doors for you beyond Darrow. Josep Cornelia Iboada. Simon Rogue Crosby. Hold on, wait, we have to wait. He has to go through the whole thing first before he gets the diploma. We have to take it back. Sorry, Simon. Katie Sylvain, Simon's advisor, writes, Simon hasn't found an all-consuming passion or a single purpose in life, and at times he seems envious of others who have. But as he's dabbled, Simon has become an artist, a woodworker, a musician. He's a philosopher on a constant search for wisdom and meaning. And he has developed such an appreciation for working with his hands that his dearest wish for spring break this year was to do some yard work. Simon, you have the ingredients for a good life there. As you leave behind the land of homework and start to shape your own life, be kind to yourself and remember how much you have grown and can grow. Simon Rogue Crosby. Misha Ray Feller. Misha's advisor, Liz Fougere, writes, "Who is Misha? During his past 2 years at Darrow, I have come to realize that there is no one answer that defines who Misha is. He's the skilled athlete on the soccer field. He's the drummer keeping the beat. He's the captivating presence on the stage. He's the leader in the classroom who quietly speaks his truth. He's the avid reader, and he's a trusted friend. Misha is understated and humble, and the reality is, without all of his many contributions over the past 2 years at Darrow, his absence would have been greatly felt. Misha, it has been so wonderful having you as part of our community, and I know as you move forward, you will continue to share your talents with the world." Misha Ray Feller. Aloka Gale. Aloka's advisor, Libby Hux, writes, "What a remarkable young lady. I want you to be my advisor," Aloka said, "in mixed martial arts." She pointed her finger at me after she expertly kicked a bag. "I cannot be more thankful. This young person has proven time and time again that she's above and beyond in her work. What's especially important? The love she has grown with. Understanding love for those around her. Aloka appreciates the teaching at Darrow and absorbs every single word. Aloka got the best out of Darrow and contributed. I'll miss you dearly. Aloka Gale." Derwin J. John Baptiste. Derwin's advisor, Dr. Ted Lightburn, writes, "Derwin can be a man of few words, so here are a few words that come to mind when I think of him. Dedicated, scholarly, awesome. Derwin, we are so proud of your accomplishments, your successes, and your determination. The mountainside will always have a home for you. Come back soon and often to share with us all of your future endeavors and triumphs. Be well. Derwin J. John Baptiste." Rachel Kidershaw. Rachel's advisor, Libby Dabrowski, writes, "Rachel and I both started our time at Darrow in the fall and are ending our time here at Darrow today. At our first advisory meeting, neither of us knew what was going on or what to expect from the year. Rachel rose to meet every challenge she faced this year and came out a better and stronger person each and every time. It has been such a privilege to be part of Rachel's life this year. She has found success, friendship, and happiness here at Darrow, and I wish her all of the same in her future endeavors." Rachel Kidershaw. Jahim Javel Pierre. Jahim's advisor, Joel Priest, writes, "There are those of us who treat the written word as a mere tool, something to be consulted as needed. But there are others of us who see the written word, both past and present, as a window into human wisdom, imagination, and possibility. Jahim Pierre is one who absolutely belongs in this latter category. Even before he arrived on Darrow campus as a sophomore, we faculty heard stories from the folks in admissions about the thoroughness, earnestness, and eagerness that Jahim was communicating with both the written and spoken word. And once he arrived, he began seeking out roles that allowed him to hone and practice his intellectual and leadership interests, eventually including history prefect, treasurer of Rho Kappa, a sports team manager, member of Darrow Theater Workshop, involvement in SAT prep sessions and college counseling, member of the Economic Dream Team who competed in the annual high school Fed Challenge, resident assistant of Neil Dormitory, and core leader. This past fall semester, Jahim set some sort of record by packing his schedule with 7 different academically demanding classes. 7, and he earned A's in all of them. In class discussions, we witnessed Jahim analyzing, criticizing, advocating, and always inspiring. Poet and satirist Dorothy Parker once noted, "The cure for boredom is curiosity. There is no cure for curiosity." Jahim, may your incurable curiosity carry you far and wide in this world, starting with Hobart and William Smith this fall. Jahim Javel Pierre. Jana Radovanovic. Jana's advisor, Don Singleton, writes, "Excellence has been described as not a singular act, but a habit. In a short time you have been at Darrow, you have exercised the habit of excellence in the classroom, in the gym, and most importantly, in your relationships with members of the community. You have embraced challenge and demonstrated bravery in embarking on a journey to a foreign land with a big dream. You have held steadfast focus on your objective despite numerous obstacles that have appeared along the way. Continue to be fearless and tenacious in pursuit of your goal, and may you have many great adventures along the way. Najlepše želje, draga Jana." Jana Radovanovic. Emmett Walker Roddy Johnson. Billy Tinkle, Emmett's advisor, writes, "Emmett and I are a lot alike. Emmett is cooler, more fashionable, more charismatic, and has musical talent, but that's beside the point. Emmett and I both joined Darrow partway through last academic year, and it took us both a little while to settle into life at Darrow. Emmett has grown into this community and grown into himself in the last year and a half, and it has been a joy to watch. I can't wait to see what your future holds, and I can't wait for you to finally share your music with me. Come on, man, I'm begging." Emmett Walker Roddy Johnson. Alex Russon. Maud Rich, Alex's advisor, writes, Alex is a student who has grown tremendously over these important high school years. Perhaps more importantly, Alex has had a rock-steady sense of self while continuing to allow that growth to occur. Alex, you are an observant, thoughtful, loyal, and dedicated person that I have been glad to get to know over the past several years. I can think of no better future for you than to wish you to keep on being your fantastic self. As the character of Aaron Burr sings in the musical Hamilton, I am inimitable, I am an original. That is you. Keep on being the strong, independent, and inspirational person that you are. Alex Rossen. Zach Sabetta. Jennifer Pitleski, Zach's advisor, writes, you are a remarkable and exceptionally talented force, Zach. I wish the world for you as you now move fully into your life as a musician and recording artist. During your 2 years at Darrow, your shoulders held the massive task of pursuing your professional career while at the same time wanting to prove to yourself that you could achieve academic success in high school. Your road has always been one that reached way beyond Darrow, and I'm in awe at all that you have accomplished. As you move forward on your own unique, powerful road, meditate on this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? This was said by Nelson Mandela during his inaugural speech in 1994. Celebrate this moment in your life, Zach, and may you not be afraid to be your most brilliant, gorgeous, talented, powerful, and fabulous self in your next life chapter. Zach Sabetta. Fatoumata Sonko. Fatoumata's advisor, Christina Alvarado, writes, Fatoumata started her Darrow journey with an abundance of caution. Thousands of miles away from her home and family, she took on the challenge of immersing herself in a new community, unsure of where she would fit in. Thankfully for us, her warm, inviting, sassy, and caring personality quickly broke through. Sonko, your constant positivity and support for anyone and anything that comes into your life is unparalleled. You make people feel like they belong and that they are important. Your incredible ability to make the most out of any situation carried this community when we needed it most. I know wherever you go, Sonko, you will continue to foster close community values, use your creative mind to make amazing connections, and most importantly, go forth finding the beauty in everything that is to come. I am so proud of you, Fatoumata, and I wish you the best as you move on from the mountainside. Fatoumata Sonko. Sheikh Sao. Sheikh's advisor, Sean Speckin, writes, I met Sheikh my first day on the Darrow campus. He had the biggest and brightest smile on his face and was eagerly working through basketball articles that Mrs. Rich had given him. He asked questions with intent and was laser focused on each new vocabulary word. I remember one conversation that we had last spring. Amongst the uncertainty of a virtual school year and global pandemic, Sheikh said confidently, "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." I continue to think back to that day and can't help but be proud of how much Sheikh has accomplished and learned over the past year and a half. He has never lost that giant smile and laser focus. Be it on court or in class, Sheikh is the shining example of just how vital a positive attitude is to success. Congratulations on all that you've done, Sheikh. Sheikh Sao. Talia J. Tassi. Talia's advisor, Liz Pouget, writes, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." Maya Angelou. When searching for the perfect quote for Talia's senior box, I knew that this was the one for her. The Talia we see standing here today is strong, confident, a gifted writer, actor, artist, and scholar. She makes it all look easy and effortless. The reality is that over the past years at Darrow, Talia has faced many hurdles, but she worked with a tireless determination to consciously make changes to become the person she is today. Talia, I am so proud of you, and I know this is just the beginning of wonderful things to come. You are ready and capable, and I cannot wait to see how you shift and shape the world. Talia J. Tassi. Fatu Cham. Fatu's advisor, Ashley Tinkle, writes, "Fatu has left her mark on the mountainside. She's a leader on the basketball court as captain and MVP, and as a student while she maintains a high honors GPA while studying in her third language. Fatu is courageous. She came to a new country to pursue her dream of playing basketball in college, a dream she achieved because of her hard work. Fatu is determined. She's always one to ask for help, stay after class, and use all of her resources until she is satisfied. Fatu is going places. She has achieved so much and is so capable. I am so lucky to have watched her grow into the person we see before us today, and I look forward to her continued success." Fatu Cham. Enrico Uberti. Enrico's advisor, Sean Speckin, writes, "Enrico took a risk by coming to the USA this year. Seniors already have so much to do in a short amount of time, so Enrico's eagerness to absorb every bit of information he could is admirable. I've told Enrico that he's incredibly stubborn, and I meant that in the best way possible. He never settles for the easy answer or path, and is always looking for ways to overcome each obstacle he encounters. I've lost count of how many times we've argued over things like Marvel movies and music, and the fact that he can debate so effortlessly is a credit to his creativity. I'm going to miss this energy in my advisory, but I know that Enrico will be out in the world pursuing his dreams, and I know that he will find a way to accomplish them. Enrico Uberti. Eric Williams. Eric's advisor, Dr. Ted Lightburn, writes, when Eric came to Darrow in the fall of 2017 as a ninth grader, he was a young boy. Standing here now in the spring of 2021, he's a man. Eric has made great progress in the past 4 years. He left the mountainside briefly, but came back to the place that has been his home for 17% of his life. Eric, I am proud of all of your accomplishments in and out of the classroom, all the growth you have achieved personally, and I congratulate you on passing this landmark in your life that takes you forward into adulthood. Eric Williams. We will now move on to 4-year seniors. And the first one is Ivan Alizakov. So this one I have to re-don my mask. I like that! I like that a lot!
I like that. I like that a lot.
This was a phrase that Ivan would often shout throughout his time at Darrow. Whether we were in a noisy dining hall, a quiet Friday morning meeting in the tannery, or seemingly just about anywhere on campus, Ivan would exclaim his trademark phrase for all to hear. Now it is my turn, unfortunately not Mr. Andy Werber's turn, who as advisor wrote this appreciation. I like that Ivan is incredibly independent with a determined work ethic and has accomplished so much both at Darrow and throughout life on his own. I like that Ivan is a pro-level gamer and was ranked 6th in the nation for Overwatch. I like that Ivan tried so very hard to have the upper hand over his advisor on the ping pong table, but just didn't quite get the best of him. I like that Ivan has a big heart, and though he may not have been clearly noticeable, he has a lot of love for his peers and community members here at Darrow. I like that Ivan is going to attend the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas in the fall, where he will leave his mark there, just as he has done here. I like that. I like that a lot!
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, the photo. Which way? This way. I look good, right? I look amazing.
Willow Ray Covendecker. Willow's advisor, Dr. Katherine Steins, writes, it's not my words that you should fear, but my silence. My words speak straight to the core, but my absence will leave you speechless. Nikki Rowe. Willow, if there's a single gift I would like to leave you with, it's the gift for you to know that you are incredible. Do you hear me? Let me say it one more time. Incredible. You have strength of character, courage, and conviction. You are and will be everything you deserve and wish for, and we'll all watch in awe as you move forward. Believe in yourself, and in the moments where you doubt it, know that I believe in you, we believe in you, and we're also very proud of you. Congratulations. Willow Ray Covendecker. Walter Lee Don Barcelona. Walter's advisor, Lily Corral, writes, Walter, you have accomplished so much during your time here at Darrow. You have grown, learned, evolved yourself into the young man standing before us. You set high standards for yourself and met them. I have delighted in seeing you cheer on others and be a firm support to your friends and peers. Most importantly, however, I know that you are still learning, still growing, still setting goals for yourself and working to achieve them. With this in mind, I know that you will continue to be the powerful young man I know you to be. I wish you every success and happiness as you move forward from the mountainside. Walter Lee Don Barcelona. Faith M. Jackson. Faith's advisor, Jennifer Pitleski, writes, the intensity of Faith's gaze as it passes over a full room of people, noting aspects of each person, can be wonderfully intimidating or confusing to some who mistake it as shyness. As Faith gazes, she is taking notes, collecting observations about social interactions, placing herself in multiple situations, and making predictions on how they may turn out. She is noting the time, tone, and energy of the room before she moves to claim her own space within it. Faith has spent 4 years moving and claiming space here at Darrow. She made the commitment to dive into academic rigor and thrive in the challenges and celebrations of learning. Faith's empathy and compassion for others, her dedication to her family, friends, and this community is unparalleled. As she stands before us now, we know that we are in the presence of greatness, and that this phenomenal young woman will light up this world with her rich voice and that bold, brilliant, beautiful gaze. Next year, she will embark on her next incredible journey at Drew University. And as Nicole Lyons writes, she will rise with a spine of steel and a roar like thunder. She will rise. Faith M. Jackson. Our next senior was unfortunately also not present, but hopefully watching. Jaideep Singh Lally. Jaideep's advisor, Libby Hux, writes, talented, funny, enigmatic, driven, accomplished. Jay is a true original. Jay stands out in our community as a student who has truly set the standard for what can be accomplished as a student. He has a stellar academic performance, but for Jay, that isn't about the importance of grades. It is about comprehension, mastery, and deep understanding that will help him build up to more advanced applications in a discipline. He craves a challenge. He also stands out as a student who has a ton of fun in his learning and lets himself be creative and take the risks necessary for his own intellectual and emotional growth. He's taking a highly rigorous and impressive curriculum in college next year, and even though that might tire him out a little, he's going to soar. He has brightened the corners of my office over the 4 years as my advisee. This year, the other members expressed their wishes for special chairs and other items for my office. Jay requested a hamster he wanted to name Pumpkin. I was ready to move mountains and get this hamster. Alas, he finally expressed it wasn't a big priority, but Jay is the kind of person you want to move mountains for, even for a tiny friend named Pumpkin. Maybe in college, Jay. Jaideep Singh Lally. For the awarding of the next diploma, I'm going to invite the Darrow Dean of Faculty, Mary Jo Daly, to the stage. Joseph Robert Lapel. Joseph's advisor, Libby Doan, writes, "Creativity is intelligence having fun." Albert Einstein and Joseph must have met at some point because these words scream Joseph Lapel. Joseph's creativity is found in the woodshop, the physics lab, his math classes, and in his writing. All of these creative endeavors are informed by an intellect that looks past the immediate and into the next level. All of this brain power comes with a healthy dose of fun and a wit that is quicker than Mr. Wilinski's puns. Parting warning to all those gathered here today. If you ever get a chance to play Uno with Joseph, good luck with that. He will be missed during those advisory games, as will his friendship and kindness. Joseph Robert Lapel. Charles William Mercelis. Charles's advisor, Michael Glovsky, writes, "Before we begin, let me say that it would be wildly inappropriate to speak about Charlie Mercelis, because that is not what he would want. So instead, I will speak about a totally fictional, definitely not Charlie, superhero that I just happen to know, but definitely don't advise, named C.W. Mercelis. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, 'The young man knows the rules, but the old man knows the exceptions.' C.W. Mercelis, whoever you are both the young man and the old man. You live in a world of rules, yet thrive in its exceptions. You are a contradiction, a dichotomy, a paradox, a sharpened blade of a mind, yet often hidden under a calm presence. A commanding visage, yet a stealthy introvert. You are full of limitless potential, and we are blessed for the times that you have shared it with us over the last 4 years. Thank you for being a part of this community, and know that you always will be whoever you might be. Charles William Mercelis." For the awarding of the next diploma, I will invite to the stage the Darrow Chair of Math Department. The Chair of the Darrow Math Department, that was bad, Mr. Joel Priest. Maintaining social distancing like a champ. Jasper James Favored Priest. Jasper's advisor, Libby Hux, writes, "Energetic, bright, kind, bold, prompt, efficient, creative. Jasper has been my advisee since his freshman year, which was also my first year teaching in high school. Jasper had lived on campus since he was a small child, being that his dad teaches at Darrow. We've watched Jasper evolve as he dovetailed into going from being a child of a faculty member to then becoming a high school student with responsibilities and expectations. For myself, Jasper helped me as I navigated living at a boarding school for the first time. Everyone enjoys being around Jasper. He jumps in to volunteer, he jumps in to welcome new students to Darrow, and he just jumps into life. I constantly see how new students look up to him. He's a shiny penny and a ray of sunshine at Darrow. Every Tuesday evening, the Darrow students and faculty meet for a Tuesday community program. Sometimes it is light and fun, and sometimes we get into the heart of things, such as vulnerability circles, share-outs, and identity-based activities. We usually do these in small groups, and Jasper will always slow down, think, and offer his contributions, and help others articulate their feelings if they get stuck. He is truly a transformative student within our community. Now I ask Jasper, truth or dare? Jasper James Faber Priest. Swaraj Rai. I have had the honor and privilege of being Swaraj's advisor for the last 3 years. We all know some, usually too few people like that. The ones you can always count on to do the right thing, to be there when needed, to instead of making a big fuss about the things they are being asked to do, just go ahead and do them. You know, the people who can be summed up with one word: solid. Ever since the time I became lucky enough to have Swaraj as my advisee, that's what I've seen. A young man who, despite having more hardship, uncertainty, and change in his life already than most people ever have to contend with, had always been just solid. His academic excellence has been a constant. Swaraj always pushed himself hard, not only for the good grades, but more importantly, for the actual work of learning itself. His hunger for knowledge and understanding has been simply voracious. His quiet leadership, which has emerged gradually as he has spent more time on the mountainside, was perhaps a little more uncomfortable for him to grow into, but has been that much more effective for it. As he now heads off to the wilds of Middletown, Connecticut, to continue his hunger for learning at Wesleyan, the only feeling that is stronger than my sadness of seeing him go is my pride and happiness of having had the privilege of working with him these past years. Good luck, Swaraj. I am so proud of you. Swaraj Rai. Sakina Saray. Sakina's advisor, Libby Doan, writes, most people who know Sakina know that she is a big fan of Nicki Minaj. This makes total sense because Nicki's music carries messages of strength and is delivered with unapologetic authenticity. She's a powerful performer and inspires Sakina to persevere, take chances, and pursue her dreams. As Sakina heads off on her next adventure and continues her path to pursue her dream, I offer this quote from Ava DuVernay, an award-winning director and producer of color. Be passionate and move forward with gusto. every single hour of every single day until you reach your goal. These words are everything that is Sakina: passionate, persistent, and goal-driven. These qualities that she carries so naturally will be deeply missed at Darrow, but will also carry her ever forward. Sakina Sarey.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The next graduating senior is also unfortunately not present, but again, hopefully watching, although I believe it is midnight over where he's at. And that's Ife Mark Shen. Mark, dude. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Mark's advisor, Mike Glovsky, has read the following appreciation. Mark, dude, we made it. Can you believe it? This is so ridiculous. You're literally graduating right now, like at this moment. And everyone is watching you and celebrating how great you are. How cool is that? Take a breath and enjoy this moment. Okay, now that we've had a second to check in before your graduation announcement, let's have Mr. Sarala read the thing I wrote. Carl Sagan said that science is a way of thinking much more than it is a body of knowledge. Mark, I chose this quote for you because you are exactly that, a way of thinking, pure intellectual curiosity. You are driven by needing to know answers to questions, to learn every possible thing about a topic, and then talk about it to everyone around you. That is what I think about when I think Mark Shen. Show me another person who has both discovered and named a new species on planet Earth before they turned 18, but also needs his advisor to remind him to go to class. You are all of these things and many others besides. Simply put, you are Mark. As you leave this mountainside, you take with you that sharp intellect, but what else do you take with you? You take 4 years of memories, 4 years of empathy, 4 years of kindness, 4 years of family. Thank you for choosing us to be your family. We are so happy that you did. Ife Mark Shen. Jaideep Singh. Jaideep's advisor, Don Singleton, writes, do you remember that advisory lunch last year when you asked whether I thought that you were a leader? The question came from an earnest desire to contribute to our school as student body president, a desire tempered somewhat by a conception of leader that didn't match your personality. You were concerned that others wouldn't view you as being of leadership quality. The funny thing was that if you had polled 10 students at lunch that day about who should run for president, at least 9 of them would have said your name. Such is your effect on others through the way you totally engage in any and all activities. Others see what you do, how you care, how you are not afraid to be joyful while doing, and they are drawn to you. They cannot help but do too. Your unself-conscious manner of going about your business and doing so with integrity and full commitment while evincing an inner joy at life has been an extraordinary form of leadership, a transformative gift to our school in this year like no other. In September, you called on us to make this year a good one, accepting but not becoming embittered by pandemic-related limitations. And you showed us the way to do just that by your shining example of demonstrative, exuberant enthusiasm for living. Thank you for leading us to a Juska blast-filled year. I wish you much happiness and many great adventures. Jaideep Singh. Class of 2021, please rise. Students, please move your tassels from the right side of your mortarboard to the left. Dear guests, it is my great pleasure to present to you the class of 2021. Now, everyone, please have a seat while we share a final moment to close this celebration. And we have a... Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
"'Tis a gift to be sinful, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bear, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. Turning we come round right."
And this is Andy Vadney for the closing.
Oh, wow. Those things always hit me hard. Thank you, Mika. Well, thank you to all of you for being here to celebrate the class of 2021. May each and every one of you enjoy good health in the decades to come and use what you've learned on this mountainside to build for yourselves lives of fulfillment and joy. I'd like to ask that all students and guests remain seated right now. Lunches will be distributed to you after the faculty process out. Again, thank you for a very moving ceremony. Faculty, please rise.
bathroom, bro. What? How are you? I was looking for you. I saw you going that way.